What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about the crypto news. Um, Markets are fairly flat, not a whole lot happening at the moment. Bitcoin sort of holding lines of support around 56k, or the base of 56k. At the moment, we'll see if that continues to play out today, because the weekend tends to be a reflection of the Friday. So, interesting. Um, Before I get into crypto news, as always, I update the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would crash it in the cycle. Had you invested $100 to each one when I released the videos and you were just holding those bags, you'd be in profit for $66,700. I've held them all, closed positions on them all, and reinvested into new cryptos. If you want to see what I'm in, you can check out Copy My Cryptos, where I share my portfolio. My portfolio keeps outperforming the market. We've had some massive wins recently. And if you want to be a part of that and match those gains, you can check it out. One thing I keep reiterating is the bull cycle will come to an end. If this is your first time in this market, when it retraces and it will collapse, and it will be hard and brutal. Even if it's not as bad as the last ones, we're still going to be looking at 60, 70, 80% losses across some of the biggest coins. And when that means the smaller altcoins losing 97, 98, 99% of their value. So make sure you're banking profits along the way and stay in the market during the bear cycle. Obviously not financial advice. I just look through the entire market during a bear cycle and find coins hugely undervalued. Case in point, Phantom is one I found that's up 408 times in value. And I'll share all those coins with the Copy My Crypto members. So if you want to be part of it, check it out. Actually, fair play to the Independent. They've got a pretty good sort of run of what's been happening in the market recently. Although crypto market surges is, I mean, I don't know where they got that from. Minus 0.33%. That's not a surge, guys. That's not a surge. So anyway, Bitcoin has obviously flitted between 59 and 53,000 throughout the week. And it's been in a bit of limbo. Other cryptos have actually surged a little bit. Ethereum did, Cardano did, Solana did, all of which have then since felt a pullback, which is what you expect in the market at the moment. Now, the interesting pieces of news that have been coming out lately are these. So, Sam Kopelman, sorry, of Luno Crypto Exchange, shared his thoughts on what Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency market is going to look forward to. And they've said basically, obviously, having had a strong start to November, Bitcoin was unable to hold the 59 support level, consolidating between 53 and 59, following the news out of South Africa. That hit financial markets, and Bitcoin decreased by like 7% on Friday last week. That said, the price has since rebounded. Bitcoin is down only 1%. Ethereum is up by 6% over the past 7 days. Despite its recent dip, the crypto industry is still thriving. At least 64 crypto companies have now reached unicorn status, exceeding the $1 billion valuation. That's staggering. So obviously, price of Bitcoin is fairly stable at the moment. It's not been as volatile as one would expect. But the big sort of news, or one of the big pieces of news, Facebook's ended their crypto ban. So they've had a long-standing ban against crypto ads, but they've reversed that decision. So crypto companies now have access to more than 3 billion people around the world who use Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. So we're doing this because the crypto landscape has continued to mature and stabilize in recent years, and there's seen more government regulations that are setting clearer rules for their industry, was the statement that came out from Meta. So obviously that means 3 billion more eyes potentially. So the market should benefit from that. And it'll be an interesting to see how that plays out over the next sort of really few months. We're going to see a surge in investments. We're going to see a surge in daily volume. We could do. If a lot of new people, even if it's retail investors, if a lot of new people enter the market, we could see that. Another piece of news is, another thing worth watching actually. Michael Saylor appeared on Tucker Carlson tonight, talking about why Bitcoin fixes money. So 3 million people were watching that interview. It's odd. And was completely on board with Saylor's message, encouraging viewers to look into Bitcoin and crypto. You've made the most compelling case I've ever heard for the need for something like Bitcoin, Carlson said, adding that he hadn't seen a conversation that was interesting about economics ever. Wow. But they discussed similarities between currency and blood, the role of money and oxygen, risks of inflation, the dire consequences of a currency collapse, and the need for Bitcoin. And this is all stuff that actually we've also, like a lot of you crypto YouTubers have spoken about. I've spoken about all of this. The rise and risks of inflation have been pretty apparent. We've seen it across countries globally. And Bitcoin can effectively be a hedge against that. It could also be a global reserve currency. So yeah, that's worth bearing in mind. Now, as obviously this article was talking about a surge in Bitcoin, I think they based that off of a few days ago, or at least a couple of days ago. But to be fair, at least they've got a sort of a decent timeline for what the hell is happening, so that's quite good. For me, the big news really is that we're going to see Facebook ads on crypto, because that, I think, is going to make a huge difference to the amount of exposure crypto gets in and of itself. Because there are a lot of people that are aware of it, but a lot of people that have no knowledge about it. Yeah. And Nikita Rudinia, who's a co-founder and member of the board at 8848 Invest, said that we may see the coin touch 75k in early 2022 before we get a major correction. We'll see. I think that'll happen sooner than that. Not the correction, sorry. I think Bitcoin will hit that before. Anyway, yeah, really, at the moment, market's just looking fairly sideways. We're seeing a couple coins that have had decent runs. Cosmos has actually had a pretty good 24 hours. Terra continues to have another good 24 hours. So you can see that chart in the last 7 days, just steady rises. Stellar and Oasis Network have had a decent time. Cardano gained back some ground that it had lost. Yeah, there's a lot of the old small percentage gains. Nothing overly dramatic, one way or the other at the moment. But Friday, we'll see how this market shakes out, because the weekend, like I said, tends to be a reflection of the Friday. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. The market, yeah, and it sort of shows that it's flat as well, by the way, because the volume is down 7.5%, which, that's quite a drop. Although that will obviously, as the day goes on, there'll be increases for sure. But yeah, things looking generally fairly, it's all sideways. But yeah, for me, the big news there is Facebook. Because exposure to crypto is important. You want to see the markets getting exposure, like you want to see this market getting more and more exposure, because you see what it does to the price. Case in point, you look at like Crypto.com, look at how their price has accumulated in the past sort of month and a half. since they got Matt Damon as the front of their ads, since they bought the naming rights to the Staples Center. I should say Crypto.com Arena now. I think it was Arena. But their prices ran wild because they're being seen. You can't move. You can't improve your price. You can't push forward in terms of adoption unless you are seen. And the same goes for that entire market. The more people that see it, the more interesting it gets. It will be, yeah. So over the course of the next month or two, because the bull cycle is going to come to an end soon enough. But yeah, having more exposure is a good thing. To be honest, the timing would have been better to have it when the bear cycle started, or when the bear cycle was in place, because there could end up being a lot of new people that get wrecked on this market, especially if they get in the next month and then there's a crash in January. But we'll see. But more exposure, always a good thing. And that's it. That's it. Oh yeah, and Jack Dorsey's rebranded Square. I forgot to say that. Yeah. So Square's undergoing a big rebrand. It's changing its name to Block. Block. Of course it's Block. See Block everywhere. The rebrand came 2 days after Jack Dorsey left Twitter. It's hoped that the new name will create room for further growth and signifies that cryptocurrencies and the blockchain are going to be the bigger focus. Rival companies that feature the word block in their title aren't impressed, with BlockFi jokingly declaring it's rebranding to SquareFi effective immediately. Which isn't a bad joke, to be fair. But yeah. So seeing Square, which, again, Square is a massive, massive company. Rebranding to Block is no small thing. Company already owns over 8,000 Bitcoin. So what they own is around about $451 million right now. So they're going to end up being fairly heavy in this space. I think that's inevitable. So that's we'll see how that starts playing out, but that's gonna definitely have a major impact down the line, because again, it's another opportunity for people to get in to crypto. It's another avenue. Obviously, they were an early mover in offering Bitcoin purchases to consumers through Cash App. And they've entered into high-profile partnerships with a number of sports stars. So again, big moves with large companies getting into this space. It's no bad thing. That's it from me. Yeah, just a little mini update before the markets really kick into gear in 5 hours or so. If you're new to crypto, you can check out my portfolio on Copy My Crypto. Like I said, this is where I share my portfolio. My portfolio keeps outperforming the market. We've had some really good wins very recently. So if you want to be part of that, match those gains, you can. And guys, again, if you're new to this cycle, if you're new to crypto and this is your first time in it, the cycle will come to an end and the correction will be brutal and fast. Bank your profits along the way. Don't get greedy. Because the losses, the 70%, 80%, 90% losses that will occur after the crash are brutal. Yeah, and then when the bear cycle's in, stick around. Everything's on discount. Everything's cheaper. You got a couple of years to build positions in great quality cryptos that can change your life. Case in point, if you'd have put $1,000 into Phantom when I was speaking about it, you'd have $408,000. That's enough to buy a house. So if you go through the bear cycle correctly, you can change your life. And that's all I do during the bear cycle is find those undervalued gems, and I'll share them with the Copy My Crypto members. So check it out. Anyway, take it easy. Bye bye.